Welcome, and welcome to the breakout session of Resources for Main Street Businesses. Obviously, if you're a small business, congratulations, because we all want to get to the next level, which is a big business, right? If not, we just definitely want to have more of this, right? So we'll have more of that on the way out. My name is Bob Foddy. Gina Coletti is my co-chair. I'm just going to go across the panel here, but I am going to ask you as well to introduce yourself. You're going to know who we are. We want to know who you are so we know how to address it. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the Gina Coletti and then pass it along.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gina Coletti. I'm the co-chair of the Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers. I also am an associate broker with Smith & DeGroat Real Estate. And I just have a question for you, just real quickly. How many in the room here today are chamber members? All right, that's great. Okay, good. So I just want to get an idea how important it is to be involved in a chamber of commerce. And so I'm just going to hand off. I think we're just doing intros right now, for quick intros. But I just, yeah, no, you can't.
Hi, I'm Josh Beanstalk. I'm actually with the Queens Chamber of Commerce on the board of directors there, but I'm also a professor at New York Institute of Technology School of Management, and I'm here to talk to you about engagement projects a little later on.
Good morning, everyone. Paul Quintero, I'm the CEO of Acción East. We're a nonprofit lender of two small businesses. I like to say we're like the Star Trek Enterprise. We boldly lend where no bank will go. Hope to share more about what we do.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Custodio. I am Vice President, CRA Officer in Community Development for the New York region for People's United Bank. I'm also on the board of the Long Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Long Island Regional Planning Council, and other entities that allow me to really get to know everyone that's out there and offer our support.
I want to get back and work on some of the logistics issues in the room here. So good morning, everybody. I'm John Keating. I'm manager of Economic and Community Development for PSEG Long Island, and we have a variety of great programs for you, for small businesses, to help you be more successful and out there on the main streets across service territory.
Good morning, all. Francesca Carlo here. I'm president of the Nassau Council of Chambers of Commerce with a united voice of about 10,000 small businesses. I'm also a small business owner, Trio Hardware in Plainview.
Okay, thank you so very much. This is our panel today, in the panel discussion. You can be seeing a little bit on a presentation, a little video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, you know who we are. What I'm going to ask you to just introduce yourself and just tell us the name of your business, no speeches or I'll get a hook. So just give us the name of your organization or a business and your name.
Hello, my name is Sandra Mehta with the City of Long Beach.
I'm Maria Fry, President and Founder of Executive Consultants of New York and also the ECNY Foundation.
Liz Kupcha, Kupcha Marketing Services. Deb Servitskis, Nassau Financial Federal Credit Union.
Genevieve Caputo, also Nassau Financial Federal Credit Union.
Good morning, Giovanna Brocchi, La Forza CDC. We're a local nonprofit financial institution doing micro-lending to minority and women-owned businesses.
I think that
John Baldini, the mayor of the Village of Brightwaters, and I'm also a small business owner.
Good morning, Steve Haynes, NYIT, colleague of Josh up there on the panel.
Walter Imperator, Renaissance Property Associates.
Stephen Parada, Town of North Hempstead.
Good morning, Nick Felix, Vice President, Market Manager, People's United Bank.
Perhaps quite as quickly as
Steve Levi, Commercial Lender, People's United Bank.
It's a very positive sign to see
Kira McCord, Market Manager for Garden City Market and for People's United Bank.
Mixed use.
Jennifer Cassidy, Market Manager, People's United Bank, Port Jefferson.
Up until now, and I think
Tony Savino, PSEG Long Island.
Panelists on it is that the office space.
Good morning, I'm Chris Chafee from PSEG Long Island.
That has been,
Good morning, Karen Kemp Smith, also from PSEG Long Island.
Presence.
morning, Juan Carlos Cabeza,
Newer
Acciones.
downtowns have very
Hello, Rafael
high
Fons,
population
Accionista.
of office space. It's
Jamie Herzlich, Newsday small business columnist, and Francesca, I wrote a story about when Todd was taking over the transition, so good to see you again.
Hi, good morning. Kevin Himes, on the board of Ronkonkoma Chamber of Commerce, and I'm on the advisory board of NYIT's School of Management. Happy to be there too. And I'm a safety and environmental engineering consultant.
My name is Sheikh Notala. I'm from Glencoe. I'm a technology consultant and consult with a lot of businesses in Long Island.
Morning, everyone. I'm Colleen Galvin. I'm an SVP with City Community Development and also a proud board member of Axion.
Good morning, Paul Molinari, part of the Duffy Park Civic Association in Hicksville, and part of the Hicksville Downtown Revitalization. Angel Cepeda with the Long Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Just in time, Angel. So thank you so very much. Now that we all know each other, and we know we have a lot of cross-pollinating to do and information. So what I'm going to ask everyone to do, obviously you can stay afterwards. We're going to be networking at lunchtime as well. I want to thank you for coming down to this event as well, and I'm sure you'll be reading about it in Newsday and other if you post this on Facebook as well. What we'd like to know is what you need. As I see there's a number of chamber members here from my own chamber in Huntington, Jennifer and so on, but I want to say thank you very much for coming to us. So we're going to kick this off. If you take a look at the environment right now on the business side of it, we have a lot of things that we have to concern ourselves with, right? In business is one thing that we always look at. If you can't control what you have on the income side, it's not what you make, it's what you spend. So how do we do that? How do we work with that, and how do we tap into the resources that we have in government, in non-for-profits, right, in grants, and also how do we network with one another, even if that is, it's not competition, but maybe co-opetition, right? We work together in making something happen. So what I'm going to ask is, I asked the panelists to mention something today on did you know? Why? Because they're going to answer that question to you if you listen a little closer. So I'm going to start with Gina Coletti, my co-chair.
Okay. Alrighty. So, did you know that as in Suffolk County and in Nassau County that there are monies available through downtown revitalization funds that would directly impact your downtown and your Main Street? I personally sit on the Suffolk County Downtown Revitalization Board, and every year there are funds available that Chambers of Commerce can apply for, and it doesn't have to be a chamber, it could be a civic, it could be something that's associated with the municipality, with the town that you're in. Has to be a group effort. But you should tap into those funds because those monies every single year, even though it might be a small amount of money, last year it was 500,000, the year before that was 500,000, this year unfortunately is $400,000 with the budget for Suffolk County, but every single year there are programs out there that you can apply for to try to get either funds to help down do street lighting or just improve your town, the curbs, to make this a more friendly place for people to come visit and want to see the town that you're in and spend money and increase the economic development of the town. So just so, if you're not aware of it, every year in Suffolk County, I could tell you that the applications are going to go out in the first week of January. If you're unaware of what to do with it, there is a training session every single year. They have it at the end of January, and you can go to the Dennison building and you can learn about what you need to do with that application so that you don't get it submitted and get rejected.
I wish I still had that property today, because I don't think that Bristol was the highest and best use for that property, right? Probably the highest and best use for that property today would be multi.
Did you know that New York Institute of Technology School of Management offers complimentary teams that will come into your workplace and troubleshoot? We have teams of faculty and students who volunteer their time, and they would come in and focus on issues addressing your companies, such as human
So,
resource management
when
issues.
you think about that, right, we have
Other
this
issues
beautiful
are
building,
strategy
downtown
and
West Side,
marketing,
right on the corner of
financial
Post.
issues.
You can-
We'll put together a
people
team
that-
of experts
they
within
go
our
to the trade
school.
park in our
We'll
park-
come
that
to
parking lot
you, meet
anyway,
with you
just
to
because
discuss
there's
your
this park back
needs.
there.
And then we
But
will
we're
come
not
in as a
great- we're not
group
great
and
boons
work
that-
on
we're not
special
great
projects
boons to that
affecting your
downtown
your
area, right?
business.
Because most of our residents, when you say
There is a
work and play,
handout that every one of you
our residents
has
are working.
with a little bit more of the
All our residents live in the
specifics.
building,
And
all the
my
residents,
name, Joshua
they play in our
Beanstock,
building,
and
right?
Steve
We have a
Haynes, who's in
cinema,
the
we
back,
have a salon, we have
are on that. You can
arts and
contact
crafts,
us,
we
or
have
you can speak to us
bankers that come
after
right
today's
into the building.
session.
We have
Thank you.
visiting doctors that come into the building, so we are a big boon to the economy, because we have doctors coming into the
I don't
building.
know how
every day.
loud to speak
We
or
have
not to
family
speak.
members coming and visiting those residents.
So I'll make it loud.
Unfortunately, a lot of
Did
those
you
family
know that
members
with
don't
one
come,
phone
so
call,
we would like to
you
see
could
them,
access
but
anywhere
we
from
don't
as little as
come
$500
visiting,
to $250,000?
So,
You don't need to have the
we're not really
collateral.
doing anything.
You don't even have to have
Last
credit.
downtown development we did was in
But
West
if you
Allen.
contact
We
Acción,
built
we can
Bristol
turn
West
that
Allen,
around for you,
Montauk
typically
Highway.
in about 2 weeks.
175 unit development. And again, you know, we're not, you know, the people that come and visit the building, they're.
My turn to talk loud. Well, at People's United, our motto is what know-how can do. And basically, this is what we're doing here. We're finding out what you need to succeed. So my organization has been around for a good 176 years. And in that time, we have been out in the community and supporting in many aspects,
But we are doing something really
SBA
interesting.
lenders
We're
and,
building
you
about-
know, just
I would say
supporting
about, 3
affordable
years ago,
housing and
we answered
communities.
an RFP
And
with,
also on our
National Western Medical
website,
Center
if you go onto our
for
site
some
under
acreage at
small
Holly
business
Housing.
and click on the link, within there it's going to drop down to a business resource. And in that resource, there's a lot of information on budget, you know, different aspects that you need to run your business. So it's more of, I like to think of ourselves as consultants to our businesses. So I urge you to go to peoples.com, take a look at it. And again, you know, we are here to work in partnership, like with Acción and other organizations, to be able to not only be a resource ourselves. If you're not ready, then there are other sources like Acción and other organizations that we work with to get you ready, because our goal is to help you grow. And then, of course, you know, all of the other business banking products that we have. So, thank you.
The bathrooms will be located in each one of the suites, so they're like studio.
So good morning, everybody. I'm John Keating from PSEG Long Island. So can everybody hear me? First of all, is that, the volume is okay now? Okay, good, thank you. So did you know? So did you know that PSEG Long Island has a variety of programs for small businesses to not only help you lower your operating costs through energy efficiency, but also to help new businesses get started in previously vacant spaces in small downtowns. And I'll kind of leave it at that because we have a really cool video that I'd like to show when we have an opportunity after we finish the conversation.
I'm at a bit of a disadvantage because when I was president of the Plainview Obed Page Chamber, we don't have a downtown. And many of these initiatives that Chambers and bravo for all of you chamber members that are here, there aren't many small business owners. I look at you, and you are a business owner. But did you know that as a business owner, you have an untapped resource that everyone can ask? Ask. People like to volunteer. People like to help you if you've helped them. We recently moved. We had 99 volunteers, warehouse wholesalers, salespeople, customers. Yeah, customers came down and volunteered to move us. I encourage people, if you need something, reach out to family, friends, banks, municipalities, any what are you? Utilities, energy companies, but also don't be afraid to turn around to your neighbor and ask.
Substance use disorder is a disease today. It's not a moral failing.
So I apologize for the
disease. So we're going to be doing
the
research.
competing voices, so to speak. If you're hearing voices, it's not wrong. You're just hearing two of them, you know. It's when you leave here and you're still hearing voices, I can't help you. So I do apologize. Maybe that will help a little better. But one of the things that, well, actually, you know, John, I think we're going to lead off with your program, your video. That's okay. You want to tune it up? You can preface it here.
So,
Want to know where in Riverhead. It actually backs up to
So this video is just a brief spotlight of a small business that we helped out with our newest small business program. It's called the Vacant Space Revitalization Program. And the idea is that if we've all been to downtown areas where there are vacant spaces, right? And it doesn't really make you want to go and shop more in that area. So what we want to do is have a program that helps new businesses to take over spaces that have been vacant for more than a year. So if a business is moving into such a space, if it's been vacant more than a year, we can offer them a discount on their first year's worth of electric cost. So this is just an example of one customer who was one of the early participants in the program. If I can get this to work.
Hello. I heard you say that you have a section millennials. I think that would work for me as well.
The microphone, let me try this. Hold on.
Trinidad,
Jungle Realty Construction has since 1950 been one of the leading developers and builders of residential infrastructure here. It has created commercial office and building medical facilities, historic buildings, and retail stores. Our next speaker, Michael Lefkow, has development in his genes. He is, I think, fourth generation in business. So I imagine that on Thanksgiving and other holidays, real estate sometimes comes up in conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lefkow.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring somebody in. In a minute, but we're just going to switch back. Let me just bring someone in. Liz, if you could just talk a little bit about the program. Helps Main Street. I apologize, we are having some technical difficulties.
Well, as I mentioned before, you know, we, as other institutions, have products and services that are available from, you know, basic banking accounts to get you started, and other, we have scanners, so if it's, you know, you have the type of business that you can't get to the bank or whatever, and you get checks to deposit, there's scanning services, we have credit cards that actually are pretty good because they also insure the purchase of your products and so forth. So there's, you know, a lot of tools, if you will, that are available, but, you know, the only way you're going to know and be able to compare is do your homework. Come and visit, speak to someone. Of course, when you're starting a business or not quite ready to come to the bank, again, we partner with other organizations that'll help you to get there. And as you grow, ultimately you'll be able to then avail yourself of, you know, lending services and all of that. But in the meantime, knowing how to manage your funds, knowing that you should have an account specifically for your business, not commingling funds that then, you know, you don't know what's going on with your business, and also then there's your personal. Of course, the foundation of everything, whether it's business, purchasing a home or whatever, is financial literacy. So we also go out and we do seminars, we do financial literacy education to just get you to know the basics. We get so involved in day-to-day things in life. We all have a passion for what we do, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to handle this financially? And also, what the steps do we have to take to get ready to come to a lender? It's not that lenders want to say no, but there are certain things you have to get together. You know, having your tax returns and having your financials in order is huge. So finding a reputable accountant to help you with your business, knowing that in the long run you are going to come for financing, is a lot different than just doing your taxes, writing everything off and saying, oh great, I saved all this money. In the long run, it may keep you from growing. So there's little things that, again, through technical assistance, through meeting with us and just sitting down and going over things, can help you to definitely grow and have the knowledge that you need. So I'll just pass it on to...
I'm going to get up and move around a little bit. Sorry. I'm going to leave the table because it's boring. I heard mainly members, right, chambers here. So I think what I want to say is, how can organizations like La Fuerza or Acción help you as chamber heads? You have a lot of business owners. So here's what we have, and here's our problem. We have capital, we have technology, we have process, we even have a team. I have 2 colleagues here that I didn't even know they were coming today. The problem we have is we're a nonprofit, we don't do marketing, we work with partners. So our bank partners, they'll talk to their clients, and we will support to help them grow. So my thinking is, how can we support your members? And it depends on the challenges they have, because awareness is what we don't have. So, well, I don't want to, but our problem is awareness. So if we have capital, we have a process, and the way it works is very simple. Your members work one-on-one with, and we have 2 of our loan consultants here, but it depends on the challenges they're facing. So I don't know the composition of your membership base, but typically here's what we see. If you're in the wrong industry, so let's say food and beverage, restaurant, you typically have a big challenge just accessing capital. If you're in an informal industry, we just started an initiative thanks to one of our sponsor partners, City, for childcare. And what we learned is they need a very simple process. So what we do today is, if you're a childcare owner, here's something we just customized. You call us, in 15 minutes, we will preconditionally approve you up to $20,000, and in 48 hours we'll fund you. We have ways to get capital to very informal business owners. For the more formal, that we talked about Main Street, you need more money. Usually the problem there is collateral. So we have a program called Community Advantage, it's SBA guarantee, that allows people that have a great business idea and potentially cash flow for that, but they don't have the collateral to be able to get access. So what I'm looking to do, depending on the needs of your client, is see how to match either credit challenges, collateral challenges, wrong industry, early stage, that's another issue. We talked about tax returns, most people don't have that, never papers out. We're used to that, but our goal is to get you back to the banks so that you can actually access that later, at least your client. So if there's any way that we can help, we're here. We've been doing it for 27 years. Love to understand more of the challenges of your members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. I have to tell you, I had gotten Paul's little abbreviated bio, very interesting in terms of where he's gone, where he has come from in terms of his knowledge, but also being picked by Mayor de Blasio to serve as commissioner on the New York City Quadrennial Commission is pretty interesting. So you'll hear more about it. Again, I'm going to ask you to come by and see our panelists afterwards and speak to them. Josh Beanstalk has been a friend for over 30 years. I met him 30 years ago as a labor attorney. Sorry, Josh, maybe I should say 20 plus. I never do that. I do that wrong.
Your labor.
As my labor attorney, I ran a real estate property management company, and we needed the best, so we hired Josh to come in, and he was able to help us through the process. So with that being said, I want to talk to you about what he has done at New York Tech and also the programs that are there.
Are you able to hear me? Speak up? Okay. Well, one of the very interesting things that we've done recently happens to do with my colleague at the end of this table, one of your members, Phoenix Salon, came to us and they asked us if we could intervene with their, all the people that work for them to put together a social media marketing plan. And we sat down with them, we met, we discussed what their specific needs are, and we then we conducted a couple of workshops and then post-workshops analysis, and we believe that they were very, very pleased with the improved marketing skills that they developed. I'm in the process right now of working with a library out on Long Island to rewrite their handbook, their employee handbook. I've worked with Casone Leasing on also organizational modifications and strategies with respect to negotiating with their union. We've also done programs on membership and customer retention, the strategies that we need to engage in to do that. So we put together a team of experts within our school, a faculty member, several graduate school students who have expertise in the area of your concern, and we come in, we talk to you, you tell us what your problem is, and then we'll tell you what we think your problem is and offer you some advice. And all of this is, being on the board of directors of the Queen's Chamber, I was told never say anything's free. It's complimentary. So what is in it for us and what is in it for you? What's in it for us is we get to have the faculty and the students engage the real world and to offer our services to the community, which is something that is very, very ingrained in our mission. And what is in it for you? You're going to get some very enthusiastic people who want to really help you improve your organization. So if you have any management-related issues, human resource, operational, marketing, please contact me or Steve, the brochure, the flyers on the table, and we would be glad to sit down and talk to you about what your challenges are. And the worst that will happen is you'll get some decent advice and you won't have to pay. The other thing that we do, which I may offer as well, is we do a series of workshops on conflict management at work, communication skills at work, organizational skills, team building, and if anyone is interested in putting together a workshop in professional skills related issues, we have a whole plethora of things that we offer, and again, it's complimentary. So, Steve, anything else?
No, I think you covered it.
We have a table downstairs, so if anybody has any other interest, would like to talk to us a little further, we're glad to speak to you after the program is over. Thanks.
So I like to say it's free, but my attorney says it's complimentary. So with that being said, it is complimentary. Former attorney? Hold on a second. Hey, here's a retainer. Okay. Boy, I tell you, it's not easy here.
He knows what's going right.
99 of my closest friends right now on the way out, right? I have to say that his programs are great. Is there anybody, I have to say, yourself or maybe an organization that you belong to, the Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers had bought this and we bought it to the Nassau Chambers. Francesca took advantage of it. Would you, just a show of hands, anybody interested in following up on any of these initiatives? If you're no obligation, obviously. Maybe your time is not free, but his is, or complimentary is. But what we'd like to do is, on the way out, just drop off your business card, but we will follow up with you. We are going to put something together. We do it at the Miller Center. We do it at the Miller Center. Where's that located?
Centerbridge Library.
There we go, Centerbridge Library. So we're going to have functions there. So my recommendation is, guys, stay tuned, because I have to tell you something. He gave me the presentation folder of this several months ago, and it was fantastic. If you know what you would normally have to go to 4 or 5 different professionals, it's a one-stop shop on a lot of it. And I have to tell you something quite impressive of the program that they put out there. So one of the takeaways will be, other than the dollar on the way out, if you wish, you also is Josh's business card, or please sign up. Gina?
Okay, Okay, so with the Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers, if you're not currently a chamber member somewhere and you wanted to become a chamber member, there are a lot of benefits to becoming a member. If your chamber is a member of the Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers, we are actively educating our chamber members on a lot of different points. We poll the members to find out what their largest concerns are. We do surveys, and we have found that a lot of the top three, I would say, is a lot of it is downtown revitalization issues. Obviously expenses, which is the number one, is the insurance expense that everybody is paying. And we have created a program within the Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers for everybody to just basically, we have somebody going out and meeting with them and saying, what are your expenses, doing an analysis, and saving them money, whether or not it's medical or whether or not it's on the HR side or payroll side. And it has helped every single person that it has touched so far. So, and that's a completely complimentary service. There's no charge for that. It's complimentary. Other things that we have, we help on the marketing side. We have complimentary workshops for Constant Contact. So a lot of small businesses are not aware of how they can put their name out there on social media. They're small, they're just starting out, and they're just unaware of what's available. So we have, as an Alliance of Chamber members, there's the benefit where we have somebody with Constant Contact will come out and give you free workshops, which is fantastic, and it helps everybody learn how to use Facebook and how to just be out there in the world today, which is very important.
So interesting. We're going to go back. Thank you so very much, Gina. And we're going to try it again. Are we ready on the tech side? John, you're up.
All right. Hopefully this will really be worth the wait now that I'm giving you such a workup for this, right?
Is a ethnic grocery store. I do carry African things. I carry things from Jamaica, Trinidad, Haiti, different Caribbean countries. I learned about the Main Street Revival program through my councilwoman. They sent me the information and I went online to see how do I qualify for this and do I. I called and emailed and I got right in.
The Main Street Revival program was really developed to help small businesses and primarily to help them get started. All you have to do to apply is to talk to us within 6 months of opening your small business account, and we have to be sure that the space you're moving into is vacant for at least 12 months.
It was really good just to sit back finally after ringing up so many people the first day to just say, I did it. Like, this really happened. I'm at the finish line. It was pretty incredible.
That's it.
My home favorites is a ethnic grocery store.
One, two, there we go. All right, so it was worth the wait, right? Good. So, and that's just an example, right? So this is one small business, and the fun part about these programs is that we're helping small businesses to really get started. That first year of a new business, everybody tells us the same thing. Just getting that through that first year and really getting your business established is the challenging part. That's what we're so happy about this program, and it's just really kind of ramping up down and finding its way. So I would encourage you, if you know anybody who's looking to open a new business and move into a vacant space, please, come and talk to us. Come talk to the chambers. That, we'd like to meet with all the chambers as well to talk about these programs and get the word out. Yeah.
Quick question: when you come into a business, do you have a program to encourage more energy efficient lighting?
We absolutely do. I don't know if anybody heard the question. Do we have a program to encourage more energy efficient lighting in a business? We have programs to encourage all kinds of energy efficient technology. Lighting actually is the #1 technology that we offer. We have rebates that generally get the investment down into the under a 2-year time frame. Get away from the feedback zone here. But yes, and that actually is a free service that we offer. It actually is free. We will send somebody in to talk to the business and look through the building and look for ways for you to save money with an investment, and we'll help you with the investment. So, thank you very much for your patience with the video. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, John. You're going to hear from next speaker is someone that coined several different phrases, and she's very passionate about buying local. So, without further ado, I will give you Francesca.
I'm going to preface this by saying, when you watch this video, yes, we're the Nassau Council of Chambers of Commerce, but we say Nassau, but we mean Long Island, and Suffolk is right along with us. So every time you hear Nassau, think Nassau and Suffolk.
So we're
Hit it.
building a very large clubhouse in that 180-unit development I told you about. We're building a very large clubhouse. And we're going to have a coffee bar. We're going to have
Suffolk, too.
What's the big deal about Shop Local? Doesn't make a difference, so who cares?
Wrong. Nassau County Executive Laura Curran believes in investing back in your community. And the truth is, shopping locally increases tax revenue because local businesses pay a big portion of our taxes. Taxes that help fund our schools, roads, garbage, and so many other services we take for granted.
So shop local for the flavor, where you can smell and taste the freshness. Here, have a cannoli.
Shop local for the experience, where you can try before you buy.
Shop local for the knowledge. We can learn from a seasoned professional like me.
Shop local for the job, where people like us start a career.
Oh, so shopping locally does make a difference.
Yes, if we spend $100 locally, 48% of that money stays on Long Island. And every dollar we spend here brings almost 3 times more money to our economy. That's about 50 times more than when we buy online.
Wow, now I get it. So before you click and buy, give Shop Local a try. Shop Local, Nassau County!
Suffolk County, too. And Queens, and New York, and New York State. But the message here is, you got it, shop local. I also want to just piggyback on what Josh was saying. We have incredible facilities here. Not to diminish New York Institute of Technology, which is such a fabulous place with so many opportunities there that are available. But also, Farmingdale offers media educational programs. Hofstra offers a program to help you be registered with the state for women and minority-owned businesses. And of course, Farmingdale, Hofstra, and I'm sure that there are a slew of others as well, but take advantage of those. And shop local, especially this holiday season. You don't have to read Newsday or any of the papers to know that brick and mortars need to keep our money. We all need to keep our money here.
Thank you so very much, Francesca. Also, as we know, it's been reported in a number of trade magazines and shopping center magazines, as well as at the ICSC convention in Vegas, that within 5 years, there's about 800 major shopping centers in the country. They're saying within 5 years, it's going to be about 400. You start seeing a lot of them. There's a national chain that's coming around to every municipality. It's called Going Out of Business. That's the national chain. I hate to say it, but a lot of them are. And something, it's not what you make, it's what you spend. So it's, if you could work on the spending part, so we're always navigating as business people how to best manage that before we put the key in the door. How do we maintain that? How do we afford that? Whether it's a hardware store, an attorney or professional office, retail, or anything else. So we understand that it's very difficult. We have competing dollars. Speaking of competing dollars, I'd like to know your thoughts on Amazon coming to Queens. Right, so I know we have our Queens Chamber here. We're going to be having in January, the Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers is going to be sponsoring something where we talk about that impact. We have what's his name, the gentleman from Queens, the president, Tom Gresh. Yeah, Tom is, but we take Josh first. That's the only we validate Tom's. we validate Tom's parking by Josh saying it's okay to come in because Josh is obviously closer to us. But Tom is a great guy. He's a dear friend. We have mutual relationships, but we have the same cause, and that's making money for the downtown businesses as well. So what I'm going to ask is this. If there's any questions, I always call this part of the program Stump the Panelist. I said, I'm sure you can try to do that, right? Is that okay, Josh? You don't know? All right. But, no, but you get $2 if you stump the panelists. So. But if there are questions with regard to the programs, obviously you heard from the small business local side. You heard also the programs that you have on PSE&G, right, and so on. Banking side is an unbelievable portion of it because you know something? That's where the money is, right? In the banks? Well, it's also up here. We have the Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers and the business organizations that we all are part of because Francesca knows she's been doing it for 33 years, 34 years? Not you personally, but the Chamber, National Chambers of Commerce?
40 years.
The National Chambers of Commerce. I have to say, that's extremely impressive to be in a business for 40 years and pass it along, but that's been a very great organization we learned from as well. And you know, with regard to Gina and the Chambers of Commerce and also the programs, the downtown revitalization, that is free money. If you want to pick the county's pocket, that's one of the ways of doing it. If you really want to know how to get that money, that's one of the ways of doing it because that money comes right back in. Steve Ballone has made that money come right back into the local municipalities. And it's the municipalities that have to apply for it. So guess what, guys? When you leave today, speak to your villages, speak to your elected officials, and say, how do we make this work? So, you know, with programs that, you know, like I said, Josh has done over the years in terms of conflict resolution, or Paul has done, as he's mentioned. I'm going to tell you, what's important is that we collectively work together. I think that's important. So with that being said, I'm going to ask any questions. Yes?
Thank you, great panel. I have a question about the Suffolk County Downtown Revitalization Grant Program that was mentioned early on. So the budget is $400,000. It's unfortunate that got reduced, but what's a typical grant size? And is that CDBG money?
Let me just running back.
It's not CDBG money. Okay, it's completely separate funding. It's strictly for downtown revitalization. The minimum application dollar amount is $10,000. So you can't apply for anything less than that. We have seen, last year we had 18 applications and 12 of them were funded. You can be completely funded, 100% funded, but you can also be partially funded depending upon the nature of the application. There is stipulations, you know, that are required that you have to follow, and a big part of it is leverage as well. So that's where your municipality comes in, where if they are willing to contribute and matching funds, it makes a very big difference in the application. It doesn't have to be strictly from your municipality. We had an application last year where we had one of the builders that was doing a project out east actually was contributing as well, which I thought was very smart because that really helped them push it up, you know, because it's a scoring, obviously, like any other. And it really made a difference in getting the project pushed over the top. And but it's absolutely worth putting an application in because why not? I mean, if you're not in it, right? It's like the lottery, really. You have to be in it to win it. So put an application in and see where it goes. Like I said, there's trainings every January, and at the end of January, it's at the Dennison Building, and you can just come. It's all complimentary. You know, let's just take the time to do it and learn about it. But it's worth it. You're welcome.
Hold on 1 second. You want to pick that?
Oh. I just wanted to piggyback on that too, because PSEG Long Island does have a grant program as well, and we look to be part of the project team for these kind of projects. So the same kind of thing, you would apply to us, and if you're doing a revitalization of a building or even a block, we can offer some funding there. It's a scoring mechanism based on jobs, investment, benefits to the business community, partners, support from the local community, and elected officials. So it's another resource that's available.
John, what's the range?
We can go up to $100,000 on a grant.
Okay, so
One other thing to piggyback on as well is when you do these applications, the more partners you have. So make sure you secure letters and submit them all at the same time. Get the letters from the builders, the landlords that are there. The more you have to back up support for this, the better.
Yeah, Bob asked me just to talk about what the process is. We don't have a specific time frame. Our programs, we're going to be going into a new budget year in a month or so. So it's really going to be budget dependent. We're funded, and it really is going to. All right, let's do it. It's really going to depend on the level of applications that we get, and we're going to score them, and the top scoring applications will generally be funded, and then we'll kind of go from there.
turnaround time by you get in, do you?
There's really, it varies by project. We can turn it around in as little as a few weeks. It really depends on the complexity of the project. The bigger projects obviously take a little more time, right?
So $100,000 in 3 weeks. I think if you average that out on an hourly basis, I'm putting it in, John. I have to tell you something. That's how I look at it, right? But it's it was a follow-up question here. Where was it? Okay, hold on a second, Angel.
It's one way to assist, there's great panel and, great ideas on how to assist small business. But one thing that's very important as well is to level the playing field. And how can we help? Okay, what can we do to help, change policy in government in terms of the tax, not collecting tax, local tax on businesses that do internet, from other states.
Wow, I know where I'm heading right now on this one here. So in terms of the internet,
Well, there's just one little phrase that I like to say. Shop local. Look, it's up in Albany. It has not gotten passed. Amazon had breaks for so many years and did not collect sales tax. And they grew, and they grew, and they grew. Now, they've been collecting sales tax for a long time. But all the third-party vendors, the marketplace, that is vast. There's millions of dollars out there. I think it's high time that our legislators, our Assembly and our Senate and our governor pass the bill to make New York State, it's already been passed national, make it New York State and start collecting it. We're going to miss out on this holiday season, and that's very big. So, as consumers, before you click and buy, give Shop Local a try.
okay, now I know how the commercial got started. But Angel, that's a very good question. How can we help? Well, one of the things that also, in addition to that that tax that hasn't been put in place, it's actually not a tax. It's closing a loophole on a tax. Let's be clear on that. We're not asking any legislator to say I'm imposing on a tax on it. It's closing a loophole on a tax for third party out of the state provider. So keep that in mind. One of the things that's going to be on our agenda is something that we started many years ago. Actually, it started 20 years ago with me when I was in business. I had a great year. My accountant sat with me and said, "You had a good year. What are you doing with your money? How are you tax planning?" I said, "Well, I'm going to save it." He says, "No, you're going to pay taxes on it." He goes, "Well, either you use it or get taxed on it, right?" So as we all know. So I said, no, I'm going to put it into my IRA. He says, but you have to take it personally to do so. So about 4 or 5 years ago, along with the SBA administration and Vision Long Island, Nassau Suffolk Chambers, LIBC, SCAC, and all the other acronyms that we have around, we decided we came up with something called the New York State Tax Deferred Accounts. What is that? Real simple. It's an IRA for businesses. You have a good year, you put the money away. If you qualify under the program, so in the downturn of economy, like Superstorm Sandy, families are still suffering, right, about that. They haven't gotten back online. Businesses are still suffering. They haven't gotten back online. So if we had an opportunity during a downturn where the government says, we're going to allow you to take money out of your business IRA tax-free, would that work? I think it would. And so we passed it through the state Senate, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And we didn't pass it through the Assembly. So as part of our lobby Long Island, which we will be going up in February, trust me, it's going to be on the top of the agenda for a tax savings account. So there are many things that we can do. And Angel, I think it's a very good question. But you know something? It's when you're pointing the finger, as they say, it points back to you, right? So we have to do something about it. So we're going to be sending something out to each and every one of you and anyone who attended this particular event, the 1,147 people. We're going to ask that you participate on this thing. Contact your local legislators. We are in conversation with the governor's office. I met with earlier this afternoon, early this morning on that. So there are a lot of things that we could do. So if we can save money, if you have a good year, the tax planning, right, and be able to take it out when there's a downturn, or how about this? If you participate in state-run programs on, I don't know, we had state-run programs for internships, state-run programs for green energy, state-run programs. If you participate, your company would qualify for that tax-deferred accounts and to taking it out. Okay, so, by the way, it already is in Congress. It was passed the Congressional Budget Office about 4 years ago. So we've been channeling that. We decided, Rich Pavone and I from the LIBC are sending it straight to the president. And we might bypass the political bickering that goes on, straight to the president. Let him think about it, let him sign it into law, and I think the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is looking at this also. They're waiting for one of the states to come through on this. So there are a lot of things that we could do collectively. This is one of them that's important because it's not what you make, it's what you spend, right? So follow-up question. I think there was somebody else that had a question here. Oh.
Along with what Bob is saying, I wanted to just add that we obviously right here on this panel, Suffolk Alliance, we have Francesca's Nassau Alliance, and Josh is on the Queen's Chamber. And we have worked collectively on a few different topics. We do meet and we discuss things. So the things that are granular to us are being escalated all the way up to Albany. We all go to Albany every year. And we meet and we sit with the Assembly, the Senate, and the Governor's Office. And it's really something that, you know, you need to speak up and tell us what your concerns are, because that's where it all starts. If we don't know what it is, we need to be aware of it. And one of the other things, like Bob was just talking about, the small business, the deferred tax. We also had gone up and we even had a press conference collectively with both county legislators. We had Steve Malone and we had Laura Curran. We did a press conference together with the Suffolk Alliance and the Nassau Chambers, all of us together and discussing the impact of the internet tax. Because what people are not understanding is it ultimately is costing us money. Because if we don't buy local, shop local, those funds, the money, those tax dollars are going out of Suffolk County, they're going out of Nassau County. We're not getting any benefit back. And then what happens is it translates into a gap in the budget. And where does that gap go? Right, it hits us right in our pocket because they increase the taxes, because there's a gap. So it's a vicious cycle. So if everybody is just a little bit more cognizant of the fact of how it impacts us directly, it's just really try to be more aware of when you do have to purchase something. I know it's so convenient and it's a lot quicker and it's a lot easier, but just think about the bottom line.
You know, I'm coming over there. One of the things I do want to introduce also, the person that was our point person on this and was guiding us through Albany, not just on the internet loophole, closing the loophole, and the small business deferred tax. The person I'm going to ask to give us an update is Michael Harrison. Michael.
How do you keep a bureaucrat brief? You don't tell him he's going to speak. Yeah, you've heard about obviously the Supreme Court giving the okay to being able to collect the internet sales taxes. But the only point I want to leave you with right now is it's not a blank check. the court wants to make sure that there's not an undue burden put on businesses, that if you have a two-person business, you do $25,000 of sales in a year, it's a sideline, that you don't get bogged down with having to submit sales taxes. So that's one. Another is that they would like the states to subscribe to, there's this national streamlined sales tax collection, and they would like the states to subscribe to that to make things easier. There are other ways to do that. There are a company called Avalara has the software that basically can make you be able to collect sales tax in any jurisdiction, any of the 12,000 jurisdictions in New York that collect sales tax. The other thing that's still needed, it was referenced earlier, is that New York State needs to pass legislation that will enable the collection of the sales tax. And we're going to be back at that again next year. The governor has included it twice in his executive budgets. It was moving along, but was killed by the Senate. Now, one of the problems, elections have consequences. We lose some friends, but we gain some opportunities here. I think that we'll get this legislation passed this time. I'm confident the governor is going to include it, and that it will be passed, and we'll be able to level that playing field.
Great, Michael, thank you. Thank you very much, Michael. Isn't that great? Michael really works, by the way, Michael used to work in the governor's office with Governor Patterson, and he's been very helpful as navigating that gauntlet. One of the things was, if you took a look at these sales, and I actually did read Newsday because I do get it, it was like $9 billion was being, went through the internet, right, on sales for $9 billion. Now, I can't say whether it's all tax collected or not, or out of state, but I'm going to tell you something. Those numbers are immense. And imagine having, that's not complimentary, that's free, right? So I'm just saying to you, a lot of that money that went out the door was not collected, was free, bless you, was free, and they're not collecting it. So if we're going to keep brick and mortar stores are going out of business, and we're struggling every day. And I'm not just talking about right now, there's a movement with about 4 major shopping centers on Long Island. They're looking at revamping it to do mixed use. They're not, life centers are out. I mean, you've gone from strictly retail to life centers, and now life centers are going out, and they're looking at mixed use, looking at the next wave, the regeneration or the redevelopment of these shopping centers. So you're going to start seeing a lot of movement there. So again, hopefully that you'll take your takeaway from today, other than the dollar, is your takeaway is going to be what we can do together. So I'm going to ask that you come up, you drop up your business card. We will send you something. I'm telling you, these are the smartest of the smartest in the industry here. We put this together for a reason. I implore you, if you had to reach out to Josh, I can tell you it was $450 an hour. It's complimentary, I guess, but I want to let you know that's always nice to know. It's complimentary, Josh. So Josh doesn't get a check in 2 weeks because that's complimentary too, I guess. So with that, 1 second, we just want to follow up here.
Thanks again for the opportunity. I want to mention I was in Roslyn yesterday, and that's a pretty affluent town, was surprised to see some vacancies, but I was also encouraged a lot of the local towns are waiving their parking fees for the holiday season, which I think is a smart move. My question was really for Paul. I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit to give this group more context about typical size and uses of loans, both for the microfinance program and the Community Advantage program, and what sectors you're seeing the most traction.
Great. So there are two, sort of a tale of two cities. On the one end, the microloan side, which we define as $50,000 or less, that's typically anywhere between $10,000 to $12,000 across New York. The uses or the kind of businesses that we're talking about are mainly service businesses. So we talked about Main Street, so we have barbers and nails and restaurants, childcare, landscaping, you name it. If you see it, then we probably support it. On the Community Advantage side, that goes up to 250, but what we're seeing is probably an average about 130,000. This is typically 60% of that is startup. So the first one that we did was for a microbrew, but you know, it's capital for starting, and it could be. And I was really intrigued about the leverage. I was going to ask if debt could be a match, or if it had to be equity. Okay, so not applicable. But what we find is that when people are trying to start a business, they're stacking the capital as much as they can to make that business start. So the Community Advantage program was for that. 60% again. We're looking at businesses that are less than 2 years, so very early stage. That's really the sweet spot for it. But hopefully that helps. And those loans go up 10 years, so it's a pretty long term.
Liz?
I just wanted to say, regarding who you lend to and all of that, you know, that just opens up a whole new world for us. Because here we are, you know, we're lenders as well, but we have a certain criteria and guidelines because of regulations and so forth that we have to follow. But yet, you do still need to have a banking relationship and so forth, and whether it's credit card or whatever. But that missing piece is filled by the opportunity to work with an organization like yours and other CDFIs that we support as well. So when we're out in community and going back to knowing, you know, what know-how can do, it's just so important, because make sure you ask the questions. Don't be afraid to. Just because we're an institution or, you know, whatever we are, don't think that, you know, asking questions is not allowed. There are so many resources out there, and that's why this panel is excellent. It's knowing what's out there, what's available to you, and making use of it. This is what we do. So whether it's, you know, informing you on, you know, what's out there and available to you, what's available through us or our partners, it's key to really have that conversation and use this as that resource. And like I said, even if you go to our site and just take a look, you know, we have templates in there and so forth that help you with maybe some questions you've had that you haven't had time to ask. But I would say make time, because we want you to work smarter, not harder. And so we all have the same goal in mind, and that's to help our communities grow.
You know, one of the things that we're looking at, and I think a lot of the banks have been changing their model, business model. I know when Commerce Bank got on the scene, right, they were working 7 days a week, right? They kind of changed the model. So I met with the then president of the bank when he came to Long Island. I think Chris Giamo introduced me to him. Well, isn't that? But that's my point. But see, that's my point. What started with a bank trying to revolutionize the industry, they made a better mousetrap in their own business sides, and they're in shopping centers, they're in supermarkets 7 days a week. They're getting access to capital and providing that to you. Because right now, we all walk around with a computer in our pocket, right? It's a cell phone. We all do business through apps and so on. So in terms of changing the way that we do business, this is one of them. One of the things that we're going to be looking at next week, and I'm going to ask the panel members, you can have 30 seconds, and as soon as I'm finished with this, we're going to do a rapid fire recap on the 30-second takeaway, what you want the members here, the participants, to take with them away. But next week, one of the things that we're going to be doing is Dwayne Gregory is sponsoring something, and Rich Human, the president and CEO, is doing a Charting the Course event. Why? It's going to cover something called millennial issues, millennial retention, millennial-friendly businesses. So if you're interested in this, this happens to be free. It's not just complimentary, it's free. There will be breakfast there. But my point is that millennials, we all have to deal with them, right? We may have them in the household. They may be coming into the household, right? Growing up through the household, or actually coming back, they have debt. We're talking right now with the state assemblywoman on taking the student loan that you have and wrapping it around a mortgage, a home ownership mortgage. You've heard of RAPs? Or a first and a second mortgage? Well, we're talking about that. So next week, there's going to be a lot of that, did you know? And one of the things, did you know there's loan forgiveness for student loans? There's debt consolidation. There's programs like H2M, millennial-friendly businesses. So just like we all have to deal with them, I'm just going to say, come by next week. We have these flyers. They're all over the place. You can go to the website. You can go online just to click, or you can come and pick up a flyer. So I'm going to just start the recap the lightning round with Paul. Paul, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. So acción means action in Spanish, and I guess I would just leave you with, we partner with pretty much anyone. And one thing I haven't said is I think the focus or the fact that we're not-for-profit also is important. We're mission-based, and so for what we do, we're focused on the success of that business owner. We talk about money, but really what we're in the business about doing is really empowering people. So yes, money's the topic, but really we're after something much bigger, which is transformation.
So, we don't offer electricity, we don't offer money, but NYT offers what I hope is really very, very good, sound advice with a competent team. Areas where you have a gap in your business, where you don't have the time to deal with something, but it's a problem that you're having, we'll step in and we'll be able to do what you don't have the time to do, or maybe you don't have the technical capability to do. Thanks. Complimentary.
I'm a graduate of NYIT, I think. So yes, it is a very good school. My recap is if you are not a member of a Chamber of Commerce, join a member of a Chamber of Commerce. Whether it's in Suffolk County or Nassau County, join. Because as you can see, there are a lot of benefits to being a member. It might be, whatever their fee is, their annual membership fee, it's worth it because the education that you'll get and also the networking that you get because that's priceless. So just join and don't be afraid to ask questions. Our site is suffolkchambers.org. If anybody wants to just go on, it's suffolkchambers.org. You can apply right online. If you're, what was that? Oh, I thought you said something. Okay. But just join and you'll see the benefits.
Thank you again. Go to our site, see what we're about, see what we have to offer, and see what know-how can do. And we partner with really all of the chambers. We do a lot of volunteer hours out there, so we work with organizations and a lot of not-for-profit organizations. We have a foundation. I mean, in 2017, we did about $4.4 million between foundation grants, SBA loans, affordable housing, sitting on boards and committees, sponsorships, and so forth. So we're really out there. We're a pretty large institution. We go from New York all the way up to Boston, but we still have that community-minded type of organization that wants to be out there, wants to help, and we do. So again, thank you, and I have a whole team here, so if you want to speak to any of them, please do, even if you just say hi.
Thank you. So I'm going to echo some of what Elizabeth said and some of our great panel here, because I think community is what it's all about for us, right? The main streets are the heart of any community, and so we're talking about the business community. And the other thing I just want to mention is that we all have great programs, and we all have advice for you. It costs you nothing to ask about it, right? So ask any one of us if we don't have a program for you. Chances are we'll know somebody who has a program that can help you. So we collaborate a lot, collaborate with each other. It's all about what's going to help you make more success. So our programs are on psegliny.com if anybody wants to hit our website, Long Island, New York.
Really, when you take a look at it, it's the Nordstroms, the Macy's, the Toys R Us, the Targets, the Sports Authority. The big guys are getting hurt. Even worse than the small guys. Retail will survive, but it is, like Bob said, the larger malls that are really being affected. Now, take that a step further. Monopolies? Well, guess who's now in the food business? Amazon. They bought over Whole Foods. It was their leeway into the food industry. Wait till they start taking over law firms, accountants, this, that, and the other thing. They are opening smaller retail. So my message is a little bit different, and it says, and I'll say, don't let your clicks overcome your visit to the bricks.
You're learning something. Again, I want to thank everyone from our panel, and also for you. Thank you for your time, your talent, and let's pick up some treasure on the way out. Thank you so very much. See you at lunch.